Do you guys want to drink? You got water?
Yeah, you got
your water?
I'm good with water.
I'm good.
Yeah. I'll get hammered later.
It's illegal. It's referendum day.
It's referendum day.
It's legal as long as you do it in your own home.
Ah,
but
see,
you know,
we're
I think
in our home. We're doing
That's good.
Pat, do you have any extra coffee?
No.
Who else wanted one? You and me.
Alcoholics.
We're recovering.
Where'd you guys go yesterday? In the end?
Some place in Coach Plaza.
Plaza Foch.
Plaza Foch.
Yeah.
It was mostly.
It was mostly
Foreigners.
visitors. Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't Ecuadorians. It was visitors.
yeah.
Corner place? Like right
Yeah, it
in
was
the
a corner
corner?
place.
Bungalow or something?
Yeah, bungalow, yeah.
Oh.
That's like, oh, you're white, let's go to bungalow.
It was the only- we saw a long line. We're like, this has to be it.
For Latin Americans, that's like fishing with dynamite.
Yeah.
We go like, we don't. I don't want a challenge today. Let's go to bungalow.
Let's go to bungalow.
Oh, that's awesome.
Here's another
There was a
rule
better
for locals like us: never take a date to a salsa dancing place.
Yeah,
Never.
never.
That's
Don't do it.
the worst thing you can do ever.
There's like 20 million guys
As good
in
as
there
you
that
dance.
like 20
Yeah.
times better than you.
You
Not
just
me.
lose it like this.
They just go with them.
It's so intimidating.
You pay for the
foreigners.
cover and
Yeah.
they live with them.
Not
Yes.
even for locals.
It's annoying.
Or you can drink a lot and then like you think that you dance as good as the other people and you just
And
Exactly.
then you're just moving your finger like, yeah, I'm gonna go out with her.
Salsa was born in New York because it was called before it was called son cubano. The cubano style of dancing is son. El son cubano is what now it's known as salsa, and that's where it was born. Like actual salsa that we know today in Latin America was born in New York
yeah.
by Latin
Yeah.
immigrants.
That is true.
How does that work with a place that doesn't have as much musical influence? If you're talking about, hey, over here we play a certain beat, we play a certain kind of music, and it enhances the flavor of the kind of dance. You go to
They
different
sort of
places,
did like a mass version of it. Like everyone was from different countries, and they took a little bit from everyone, and they
Yeah.
just sort of massified it, and they said like,
It was
this is gonna
mainly-
be, let's make it like this for everyone. But apart from that, obviously every country still has their own type of
Their own
dancing.
takes.
Yeah.
It's super fascinating, like seeing the evolution of. You can see the evolution of human beings and cultures, and you start seeing the evolution of a specific type of dance between cultures that seem similar, but it's very different.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
Crazy.
the most like common one right now that everyone sort of dances the same is reggaeton. That's
Because it has
basically
no-
that's like that's not.
If you go northwest of Quito, you go to Esmeraldas, Chota, all those provinces, it's amazing. The rhythm, you just go in there and start feeling rhythm, man.
It's all just this.
It's like you're in a different country.
Percussions.
Completely different.
Because it was like a group of slaves. They just escaped and they just stopped in this place called Chota. They developed their own culture there. It's completely
Well, they
different.
kept
from
their
the rest.
roots actually.
Exactly.
I mean, they just
Oh,
like
yeah.
sort
You
of
can hear
kept
the
living
music.
with their own culture.
They have their own particular type of music called la bomba,
La bomba is
Yeah, la
amazing.
bomba.
Oh, it's amazing.
and it's just the perfect blend between indigenous music and African
In
beats.
Africa, yeah. There's only a couple of African cultures in all of Latin America that consider themselves indigenous. One of them is these guys, and the other ones are the Garifunas in Central America. It's just the best cultures in the world, and they're Afro-Latin Americans that speak their own language, have their own culture, their own music, their own food. They're awesome. They're awesome. Colombia also. Colombia has some crazy
especially in Buenaventura.
cultures. Buenaventura.
Yeah.
And also the mix they have with the Caribbean as well, where they speak Creole and they mix it in with the Spanish and the English. And it's just the best. And yeah, so here in Ecuador, a lot of influence from there. We have a lot of influence.
Well, the actual indigenous music, like from the Andes,
Oh yeah,
Like-
for sure.
from the charango that
Oh,
we
yeah,
were
that
saying
instrument
yesterday.
over
You know,
here.
these instruments.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't believe it, but Latin America, different countries have different influences. Ecuador is North America, Mexico and the United States. If you go farther south, maybe like Chile or Argentina, Brazil as well, they have a lot of more of European culture. They
Yeah, that's
watch
true.
more European TV shows. They have more European pop culture.
Drink a lot of wine as well.
Drink a lot of wine, yeah.
More
But here, Andean countries, maybe Ecuador, I can speak for Ecuador more than other countries, but we have a lot of Mexican and American culture here. So rock for us is super important. Super important. Over here, the rock culture is just it's in us. So we always try to mix in some bluesy southern rock riffs in the guitar, and yeah, that always steps in as well. For us, it's super important. In the shows we have, you're always gonna hear some Rolling Stones. You're always going to hear some Lynyrd Skynyrd. It's amazing. Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
And even within the country, you see a big difference. So right now we're in the Highlands, right? We're almost 3,000 meters above sea level. So it's very, it's very like this, like you're saying. But once you go to the beach, it gets a lot more Caribbean.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot more salsa, like a lot more. You know?
Andean music in general is more melancholic. Like a lot
Definitely.
of our root music, the rocola music that we call it, from the 50s, 40s, it's a lot of
jukebox.
the jukebox.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the mint.
Yeah, like
Ricola.
jukebox, yeah.
No.
And these guys, they sort of they passed it on over the years, and that's why people think that in general, us guys from the mountains, from Quito, are more like not laid back, but more timid, more
Introverts.
introverts. Yeah. So because of this music, we love like crying music. We call it. I mean, it's like you just drinking. You know, have a bottle on the table, drink, and they have these sad songs. You know, remembering your childhood, remembering your ex-girlfriends, and you're just like laying there on the floor going, oh, I miss my girlfriend, like this.
And this is having a good time. So there's a
And this
saying
is
for
having a good
Ecuadorians.
time for us. It's like cathartic.
There's a saying for Ecuadorians that we get happy with sad music.
Right.
We live calmly in the middle of volcanoes, and we make jokes in the middle of poverty. That's like the three definitions of an Ecuadorian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you guys plan on interacting your music company and the education company with all these other different areas of Ecuador? Because right now I know you're focused here in Ecuador.
We're focused here in Quito right now. I mean, we're not gonna say that we're like the a musician that knows every single type of music. Of course, we're always learning as well. I mean, I'm not I'm not an expert in charango, for example, but I'm more of a guitar or piano player. But in the end, it's a matter of like keep learning, depending on how we grow as well. So every time we know somebody new, every time we meet a new student that wants to learn something that we don't know, it's just another opportunity for us to just learn as well, and then just keep improving on the skills and the knowledge that we have right now. Yeah. And so that's what's gonna happen. I mean, we don't know where we're gonna be in 10 years. Probably we're just gonna be doing cumbias and salsa music.
But one of the things that we definitely thought of when we started this whole crazy idea was how scalable this is. Because we were telling you yesterday how we don't have a program, a music program where we teach. We basically build whatever we do according to the person we're dealing with. And so we think this can be scaled to or extrapolated to any other culture, country, but also to any other discipline. Like we could be doing the same thing with painting. We could just be teaching painting, not us, but painting teachers, art, any art in general, teaching people and doing the social aspect of things as well, so that we have more art in our streets rather than those kids throwing fire out of their mouths for 25 cents every time they stop in a traffic light. So
I don't know if you saw that in Colombia. It's very common here. Traffic lights having these kids just blowing fire out of their mouths with drinking gasoline.
Yeah, traffic light performance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But
we haven't seen the gasoline Spitfire.
You're
yet.
you're gonna see it.
No, I haven't seen that, but they have it in Colombia as well.
Like here, when you go down to probably Chile, Argentina, the street performance part is a lot more elaborate. There's actually people from circus, people that are trained in that.
I usually tell all these
Here
guys
is
that they're usually Argentinians that are usually, if they are
the ones
pretty
that
good
go
in their
backpacking around the whole Latin America doing.
I told you,
juggling
mostly
stuff.
Argentinians.
They're mostly Argentinians.
Chilean, some Chilean as well.
They love it. You go to Montañita.
He's been saying that for so long. He's like, I'm telling you.
See, I was right.
yes,
Reivindication.
get local approval. And Chileans as well, Argentinians,
We'll get
Chileans.
some of them on.
When you go to Montañita, you're gonna see those guys as well. A lot of
definitely
Argentinians
have to
backpacking.
Around this time, right? It's still summer.
Well, they're usually making like craft jewelry,
Yeah,
or little
that's the other thing.
artisan goods, and they're
Yeah.
laying it out on a blanket,
Yeah,
and
That's
selling it.
That's completely
it's
different.
crazy no one knows, or at least no one that I've asked has been able to explain to me why Montañita is such a huge destination for Argentinians. It's not close. It's not logistically easier than going someplace else, but they just come here like crazy. And when I was in Argentina, I was like, as an Ecuadorian, I was just in awe seeing all this Montañita propaganda, like go to Montañita, go to Montañita. It's
They
like
love
being
it.
in Argentina where you're there. It's full of Argentinians and a lot of music influence as well. So maybe we can talk, like translating this into music, about the cumbia villera. Yeah, so cumbia villera is a cumbia which is really known everywhere in the world, but this cumbia villera is sort of like a pop,
Like a simplified version,
simplified
more
version.
catchy, poppy.
yeah,
Yeah.
more commercial version of cumbia that sounds a lot in these places like Montañita.
That is because of Argentina.
It's because of
particularly from that this type of cumbia.
Exactly.
They love
Yeah.
it because it's like a simpler way of dancing, and they like it because Argentinians are not really known for, they don't dance salsa or, the more typical Latin American dances, but cumbia,
Yeah.
they love it.
They
Yeah, they're known
It's
for the
like-
flamenco and
it's like-
everything, right?
Flamenco?
Uh,
They
What
do,
dance
They have tango.
tango.
Tango. Okay.
Tango,
yeah.
that's them.
That's
Just like
They're-
that's Tim Ferriss when he won.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keith Richards from the Rolling Stones used to say, never let the truth get in the way of a really good story. So I'm gonna tell you guys this story, but don't fact check me because I don't know if it's true. But cumbia, you actually dance it without moving one leg. You just move around with the other leg like this, right? And they say it comes from slaves, African slaves that used to just dance with one leg. And they
Do you
say
want to
that's
do the
from cumbia.
demonstration again?
Oh hell no!
Whether it's true
I
or
didn't
not,
really
it
catch
inspires
it.
the
Can you
people.
do it?
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely one of
Oh,
my
I've
favorite
never heard
stories
that.
because it's like you basically got ships full of slaves that came here, and they were the ones that arrived were the ones that genetically were the healthiest, physically and anatomically the best ones came here. So we definitely have an Afro culture in Latin America of just the best dancers, the best musicians, the best performers in art in that respect. But historically, they've also been the poorest. So that's also one of the things we want to like. Dylan, which is our second kid that we gave a scholarship to, is learning piano. He is Afro-descendant, and Renelle is our third
She's
student
also,
that with a scholarship. She's also Afro-descendant.
and I'm very sure that in like 2 or 3 years they're gonna be playing a lot better than us and singing.
Yeah, that's
because
where I was going.
little girl, she's like 7, she's starting to sing, but they just have it in their genes. I mean, I know that in 3 years they're just gonna be like, you don't know anything. I'm
They're
gonna
gonna be
sing,
teaching
but
you.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, she's gonna be teaching me for
She'll
sure.
be like dancing and
Yeah,
yeah.
of course.
Guys, thank
Yeah.
you so much for taking your time for this bus stop right here.
Oh,
Oh,
thank you.
no,
for sure.
Thank you guys.
The music, the playing, everything, it was beautiful. And now, hopefully it's time for a podcast now. So we're wrapping this one up. Please let everybody know where they can find you guys, where they can find your website, social media tags.
We have a few places. We're on Facebook, on El Música, at El Musican Project. I don't know if that, I'll tell
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
so you
we'll
can
add
write
it-
it down
we'll
because
add
I
the
know it's
show
probably
notes.
going to be harder for other people. Same, we have a website, www.elmusicanproject.com. You can make donations through there as well if you're someone that lives in another country and you're not able to come and help with the music lessons. You can also donate to the project directly through a bank account or transfer, things like that. Yeah, we're also on Instagram recently. Musican Project. Nobody has that name, so we could use it in every single. Yeah, so Musican Project on Instagram as well. We just launched it, so hopefully you'll follow us and
Beautiful.
help.
Thanks
Beautiful,
for the
guys.
beautiful song too.
Thank you so
No
much.
worries.
No, thank you guys
Thank
for
you.
the invite.
Thanks for watching this video. If you want to see how we made it this far on our journey, check out one of the other playlists on the sidebar or click the subscribe button below to keep watching our journey. Now come get on the bus with us.